whether it's the survivors or the folks who support them, that we open multiple channels. One of the easiest ways, of course, is if you have access to the internet, go on disasterassistance.gov, upload your application, and have it facilitated that way. We understand that the power will go out. Some people simply won't have access to that kind of technology. And that's, again, why we have to have people go into the neighborhoods. We do have disaster recovery centers that are positioned strategically to enable access and look for things like transportation routes to get to those places. But oftentimes, somebody's isolated in the neighborhood. We find that out, and we advise or direct the disaster survivor assistance teams to go to those neighborhoods and look specifically for people who don't have the mobility. And once that process starts, then we have them. We have them in our fold. We can do things like provide special needs assistance, which is that initial payment that pays for things like over-the-counter drugs. Maybe somebody needs a medication, access to water, or certain foods, special diets to get through that first couple of weeks. And then we, again, evaluate what are the other aspects of that person's case that might require rental assistance, that might require, if a person owns a home, repairing a home that was accessible to a point of even greater accessibility, if we can make that happen. If they've got a broken wheelchair, we work with the state, we work with stakeholders to make sure that we have a three-dimensional idea of what's going on, so that if they need a wheelchair fit, as well as special needs assistance, as well as access to the myriad other resources, then we can appreciate that about that individual case or that household. I spend a lot of time educating state and our federal partners who work well with us during disasters that community independence is the point. That's the goal. That's the final domino in the potential inequity line of events that I anticipate from the very beginning. I'm going in with an eye toward how do we promote community independence for people who were, in many cases, independent, whether they had a caregiver or were in a home that was accessible. And that's why I was happy to discuss the IEA reforms, the individual assistance reforms, earlier this year, which not only seeks to restore homes to a point of accessibility that was prior to the disaster, but even more accessible. Particularly people who may not be disabled right now. Many people become disabled in disasters, so we account for them well. So we're trying to not just rebuild, but in some cases pro-build, meaning if it wasn't accessible before, we want that community to be conducive to a person's independence. So my whole point of being here is to look down the road and see how do we get, what steps do we need to take, what resources need to be in place, whether it's access
safety
to
first. I'm trying to drive safely on the road. That's why I pulled over. I'm about to leave.
This is why having that relationship with stakeholders in the state is so important, because we understand that the whole point of this whole exercise is to build that community stronger. I will say for the state of North Carolina, we've got more than 1,000 people who are already there. I'll be 1,001, and there may be more who are likely more who will be in that state. The president has committed to being there until the job is done. I am an embodiment of that commitment. I intend to not only build on the relationship I have with the communities that I've built for the disaster, but look for new opportunities to add to this relationship that we have to have in order to have this long-term partnership that we're going to have with the state and with the community. We are constantly educating society on what accessibility means within the context of people's lives. For a lot of people, they think about a ramp, they think about an automatic door, a local shower. But for somebody who is blind, somebody who is deaf, somebody who is deafblind, right? We have to appreciate that people show up in many different flavors. I'm a person with the mobility impairment I talked about earlier, and also come from a mental health background. So I also appreciate and am sensitive to the notion that there are other disabilities we often don't account for. And again, this is why relationship is important, because I can talk about what accessibility means within those different contexts, and that's how we educate not only our federal partners, but also our state partners. And we also get educated by the community so that we're smarter about concepts like accessibility and what that means to different people who are living different experiences.
Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate your time again.
Thank you. I appreciate you helping us get the word out.
And that was BPR's Katie Myers talking with Sherman Gillums, Jr., FEMA Disabilities Coordinator, about their role in supporting citizens living with a variety of disabilities who have been impacted by Hurricane Helene. Well, if you're applying for FEMA benefits, you may be overwhelmed by all the paperwork or need help. Asheville-based attorneys are stepping up, and attorneys across the region, in fact, to help people fill out those disaster assistance forms. BPR's Gerard Albert III spoke with Perry Fisher, one of the attorneys providing no-cost application help.
These applications are complex. What, for people that are looking at this and being or intimidated by it, what should they know?
I guess they should know that we're here to help. It is a complicated process. It's hard to explain all the little ins and outs, but we're going to train our volunteers so that they can walk people through the process and do that. We'll have as many volunteers as we can for the process.
Like, what makes it so complicated?
Well, the questions, I guess, are default questions. For instance, it says, do you have insurance? And people may say that's a generic question of did I have insurance? The answer is yes, but the real question is, did you have insurance to cover this loss? And so that's a question people think, well, did I have insurance to cover the loss? And if there's questions, as personal injury attorneys, we can help read their insurance policy and walk them through the process whether they had the coverage or not. And we're doing this free, voluntarily, at no cost. That's an important part. People don't need to be charged for this kind of assistance.
Tell me, for people that want to come out and volunteer, do they need to be lawyers? Do they need to have any legal background? Are they just people that need to be willing to learn? Who are you looking for?
That's a great question. We're looking for people that are willing to learn, people that want to help their neighbors. That's it. This is people helping people.
Tell me about your decision to kind of offer this service. It's not, it's something I think is very needed, because what I've heard from a lot of people is how confusing FEMA applications are, and even just being from Florida, I've seen firsthand what it's like to struggle with FEMA for months after the fact.
This was our opportunity to help our community. A lot of immediate needs are being met, resources are being coordinated. This is a long haul issue. People are in a marathon right now of recovery, and as the flood dust starts to fly, or the river recedes and the recovery dust starts flying, this need, it was an unmet need. We wanted to meet it. I don't know how to answer that. We had a talent that didn't involve a chainsaw or handing out water or food, and we're looking to share that. We can train people to do it.
Everybody's trying to do, or a lot of people are trying to do their part with the skills that they got, So
that's it. I can run a chainsaw, but not the number of hours someone much younger can.
There are some people without computers or reliable access to internet at their homes, but if they come by to y'all, you guys can kind of facilitate that as well, right?
Absolutely. We're going to have a conference room and office at least where our volunteers are going to help them fill out the application process for them. Because yes, if you've lost a computer or phone, you don't have the ability to file the claim online. People will need their banking information if they want it direct deposited, or a mailing address. One of the most important things people need to know right now, I believe, is that we're told that the deadline to apply for FEMA assistance for Hurricane Helene in North Carolina is November 27th. So that deadline's coming up.
Yeah, that'll be here sooner than people realize, I think, as they make these efforts to clean up. Before you know it, it'll be creeping around the corner. I had mentioned it before, but this kind of battle with FEMA that can happen afterwards, there's a lot of misinformation out there about, the first little bit you get, $750 if you apply, is the only bit you'll get. Can you just talk a little bit about the process after the application?
Sure. If people get denied their FEMA assistance, there's an appeal process. People need to keep their receipts. FEMA is to provide assistance. They don't cover the whole loss. They're doing what they can. Some folks may be eligible for SBA loans at a low interest rate, but those loans have to be repaid. But there's an appeal process that if you are denied FEMA benefits that you think you're entitled to, you can go through. And that's a bit more complicated than we could cover now. But people do have the right to appeal, and they should appeal timely.
Well, thank you so much for all this information. Thank you for what you're doing for people. I know that process gets stressful. Again, I've seen it firsthand. So, yeah, thanks for talking with me.
Well, this was our opportunity to reach out to our neighbors, to help our for neighbors to help neighbors. This isn't just us. We're so humbled by the number of volunteers we already have, but we're looking for more. I feel like the need's great, and hopefully we'll assist as many people as possible. I know FEMA's doing it as well, but they also have limited resources.
And that was Perry Fisher, one of the attorneys providing no-cost FEMA application help, speaking with BPR's Gerard Albert. Attorneys will be available every Tuesday, 9 to 4, starting this Tuesday, October 15th. The Fisher Stark Law Firm, located at 99 McDowell Street in Asheville. That's 9 to 4 every Tuesday at the Fisher Stark Law Firm, located at 99 McDowell Street in Asheville. If you need help with your FEMA application, the group is seeking volunteers also to train on how to assist with the FEMA process. To volunteer, contact the firm at info@Fisher Stark, that's FISHER Stark.com. That's info@FisherStark.com. And Pisgah Legal Services is also holding free walk-in clinics. The next one is this Wednesday, October 16th. That's 10 to 4 at St. Paul's Missionary Baptist Church at 170 Fayetteville Street in Asheville. No appointments needed. Everybody's welcome. And on Thursday, this is Pisgah Legal Services. They're holding a clinic Thursday beginning at 10 to 4 at Hominy Baptist Church in Candler. That's 135 Candler School Road. No appointments needed. Again, those are walk-in clinics, absolutely free. Everybody is welcome. We heard today FEMA is out in full force across western North Carolina. There are a handful of FEMA disaster recovery centers now open. All are open daily, 8 in the morning until 7 in the evening in Buncombe County. That is at the A.C. Reynolds High School at 1 Rocket Drive in Asheville. There is also a comfort station there, so you can get FEMA assistance. I think there are representatives often from the Small Business Administration. Lots of help there. There is a urgent care clinic set up at there as well. Novant Health has a mobile urgent clinic there. So that is in Buncombe County, A.C. Reynolds High School, 1 Rocket Drive. In Asheville, they have a urgent care set up. There are laundry facilities. Shout out to all the volunteers from Red Cross and others helping that laundry facility stay open. There are also people with the laundry facility. There are also showers, so lots of food and water. So it is a one-stop shop. One shop. I'm going to just stop trying to be creative with my words. It is a place to get lots of good resources, is what I'm trying to say. That is in Buncombe County at the A.C. Reynolds High School. FEMA has a recovery center set up there, and there's a comfort station as well. FEMA Disaster Recovery Center is also in McDowell County. The McDowell County Senior Center in Marion at 100 Spalding Road. You can also get FEMA assistance and other assistance there as well. In Jackson County, they are opening one on Sunday. They're having a soft opening this afternoon, but FEMA Recovery Disaster Assistance is going to be at Jackson County's Annex Building. That is 198 WBI Drive. I think that's an industrial complex. It will soon be a FEMA Disaster Recovery Assistance Center that's opening up for real tomorrow. They're having a soft opening this afternoon. That is in Silva at the Jackson County Annex Building. I'm Helen Chickering. Thank you so much for tuning in to Blue Ridge Public Radio, BPR News and Classic. Lots of information to get to you. We know there are lots of questions about water, which may start flowing in your faucet in Asheville, but this is just a test phase. They're trying to find out where all the leaks are in the water system. They've got lots of other things to do before water is back up and running but we're going to get some of your questions answered shortly. Meanwhile, it has been more than 2 weeks since Helene devastated this region, leaving so many places with no running water and no timeline really for its return. As a result, many schools have been closed, including Asheville City and Buncombe County. Now, some are taking the water matter into their own hands, including drilling wells on school grounds. BPR's Laura Hackett has more.
Rob Jackson has been losing sleep over how to solve the water problem. He is the superintendent for the county that includes Asheville.
In my 33 plus years, if a school didn't have water, we sent students home. We closed school. We couldn't imagine operating schools without water. Water is crucial to the operation of a building.
He needs solutions for everything from sprinklers to bathrooms to the tens of thousands of meals that need to be prepared every day. One Asheville school had an idea.
Yesterday, we did drill a well at Hall Fletcher Elementary School, and we were able to hit groundwater.
That's Maggie Furman, who runs the schools in Asheville. They're trying to drill wells at 9 more schools. And once hooked up, hope to open them again. They think it may happen in a couple of weeks. Another idea is to equip schools with large water vats and a pump system. It would take roughly 180,000 gallons of water a day to make that happen. Meanwhile,
I miss school. I miss seeing everyone. It's definitely boring sometimes being at home.
Trumi Roberts is in 8th grade and one of around 25,000 students in the school system. Virtual learning isn't possible because of persistent and widespread power outages. So some students have evacuated with their families and enrolled somewhere else. Others, like Roberts, are just sticking it out.
My mom's been doing lots of community work. We recently dropped off a generator to a woman who just given birth. She had no power, no water. So I've been running errands with her.
In her downtime, she's picked up a new skill.
I also got out my new sewing machine, so I had to start a hobby because I don't have Wi-Fi.
As for the parents we talked to, they can't wait for schools to reopen with whatever water source. For NPR News, I'm Laura Hackett in Asheville, North Carolina.
And that was Laura filing for Morning Edition earlier today. Now we've got an update from the town of Weaverville. Weaverville, we hear you. There is good news about water. The boil water advisory has been lifted. We're going to get more from the town of Weaverville. This is an update from yesterday.
I'm Patrick Fitzsimmons, Mayor of Weaverville. Today is Friday, October 11, 2 weeks post-hurricane. Now I've got good news for us today. Last night we were able to repair the water line that was damaged under Reeves Creek and restore water supply to those who live south of Reeves Creek. I am happy to say that as of right now, all customers of Weaverville Water have water flowing into their homes. That's very exciting and a great improvement. Also, as a result, we've done some testing of our waters and have determined that our water supply is clean and safe. And so therefore, I'm lifting the water boil advisory for those areas north of Reeves Creek as of noon today. For those folks who live south of the creek, because your pipe sat empty with no water for several days, you will still need to be under the water boil advisory until probably Wednesday. Also, yesterday there was a lot of power restoration in and around Weaverville. Most all of us now have power. There might be a few pockets here and there, but most all of us do have power restored to our homes. Self-service has been 80% restored, and we know that Spectrum and Frontier trucks and crews are in town today making repairs to internet and Wi-Fi lines. We do not have a time yet when they will be restored, but we know that they are working on them. You may have also noticed that there's a lot of traffic in town, and that's because Weaverville is the commercial center of all of North Buncombe County and areas beyond. And as our businesses begin to reopen, people from far and wide are traveling into Weaverville, so expect heavy traffic as people come in town to get supplies. And distribution sites continue to provide water, food, and other necessary supplies at First Baptist Church, at Hillside Community Center, and at North Windy Ridge Elementary School. So this is not over yet, folks, but we're out of the emergency phase, and things are looking like a bright future again for Weaverville. Have a great and quiet weekend.
That was
There's a curfew at 7 p.m. still. This community here on the left has a Starlink, and it looks like they've been serving people for a while, but it's kind of quieted down a lot. I was kind of hoping there were still people here, but it looks a little bit quiet. They still have a non-portable potable water station. So that's the video for today. Checking out from Asheville, North Carolina. This is Journey. Please like and subscribe.